The Super Mario Galaxy movie hit theaters and brings us new worlds, new characters, and Yoshi! So does it soar, or is it just another egg that Yoshi poops out? Let's go! Find out. Welcome back to the channel where fandom is ageless. I'm your host, Kimberly, and I went to my local AMC theater to watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie because of Yoshi! And yes, I managed to get my hands on a popcorn bucket, which means that my friend Dom and his pup Bucky can keep theirs in Germany for their collection. Now, it has been a few years since the Super Mario Brothers movie came out in 2023, I believe, and we've got a first-time reaction video coming soon, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. But this film thrusts us right back into the world of Mario, and guess what? A princess from another castle has been kidnapped, and our heroes are going to band together to save the day. Sort of. But jumping right into the positives, the world is vast and absolutely perfect. Every scene feels like the video games just walked off the cartridge and onto the screen. Between the characters and the accuracy and the colors, it's awe-inspiring, and that added to all the nostalgia that made me laugh or just sit back wide-eyed at what I was seeing. And there's this one unique choice of a visual for a montage, because every great film does need a montage, but it's done in a way that made me laugh and made my little kid heart grow and feel young again. And it's perfect, and I loved it immensely. But if I'm being honest, the entire film could look great and have all these great nostalgic moments and beats, but if the music doesn't tie it all together, it probably wouldn't work as well as hitting those nostalgic moments. But Brian Tyler's score was on point. There were moments when characters walk into a room and you'll hear the music from the video game, but then it seamlessly blends into something else. It's masterful, and I'm sure it isn't as easy or as seamless as it feels when I'm in the theater watching it. But it added that level, and really and truly, I think the film would not have been the same without it. And sadly, that's as far as my positives go. It feels like this film suffers from trying to outshine the original. It jumps right into the galaxy, and we're introduced to so many new characters and so many new worlds, and we never get to spend enough time to actually enjoy what we're seeing, or to even understand why they're there, or what they're doing and what their plans are, how they're connected to all of this. They just kind of feel like they're thrust upon us for nostalgia, and while it lands, it also doesn't. And this is where I wonder if the time between films has come into play. Like I said, visually, it is an immersive game brought to life. It is everything I would want to see from Mario on screen. It's perfect. But the story feels so disjointed and so rushed. Our characters just split up and somehow end up back together again because the script just makes it so. The first film had a thin story, but it was cohesive, and regardless of how thin that thread was, you could follow it and cling to it. Whereas in the Galaxy movie, it feels so overstuffed with characters doing their own thing that the film suffers under the weight of it. And that leads to these massively missed opportunities within the story that would have elevated it. The banter, for example, between Luigi, Bowser, and Mario is interesting, and it would have been great to delve deeper into. Instead, Bowser goes through more personality changes than a toddler changing their mind over what they want to eat for dinner. And it happens for reasons. Then there's Peach. And when the script needs her to learn something, it just happens in all of 10 seconds without giving the information weight and time to digest. And don't get me started on how Yoshi just feels like he's part of the movie because they knew that Yoshi was a popular character. He's relegated to the background where he just eats things and he poops eggs and he uses his tongue to climb up a tree. He doesn't feel like he has any impact to the story. It doesn't even feel like they bonded with him in any really discernible way. So it's odd, and it's again, a wasted opportunity. And then there's another character that I believe was spoiled in a trailer, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to bring it up. Phenomenal character. There could have been more there. I would have preferred that specific character be utilized more instead of jumping from galaxy to galaxy. I think it would have been better and more powerful and allowed you to open up the galaxy a little bit and then expand later. And it's not like some of these issues weren't in the first film. You could just overlook them because the nostalgia felt so good and the film looked so good and that fine string that held it all together was okay enough. But with the overbloated cast of characters and the plot just plotting, these issues are glaring and I can't get past them. And some of the families that were in the theater with me, their kids couldn't either. I don't know if this is a Nintendo thing, as they are very protective over their products and IPs, but the thing is, they had time to learn from that first movie. They could see what worked. They could see what didn't. Maybe that, to me, is the most egregious thing. They had a perfect example to work from, and this feels like they gave us the fan service they knew we wanted and gave us a video game film that looked so damn good with music that was so good. And they just figured that would carry it, and they forgot about the script. And maybe that's where the 3 years comes into play again. There wasn't enough time to write a cohesive and thought out and good script. Because of all of the above, I need to give the Super Mario Galaxy movie a background noise rating. It's just too much and too overwhelming. Even the family next to me in the theater, their tiny humans kept asking what was going on. Daddy, why is Yoshi doing that? Daddy, why isn't Mario with Peach? Daddy, what world are we on now? Daddy, why aren't they coming back? I felt horrible for them. And they seemed really lost in the story's vastness. And that might be the biggest hurdle this film is going to face. Now, will it make a crap ton of money? Of course. It's Nintendo. I expect nothing less. But that being said, with 40 years of content, you could have taken your time and had a Nintendo universe of movies. Sure, they're probably still going to do that. But if the movies continue to be all show and no substance, eventually that money is going to stop flowing because those kids are going to grow up and not be interested in it anymore. In the end, if you liked the first Super Mario Brothers movie and can look past the sophomore slump stuff, you may enjoy this. If you have tiny humans that are clamoring to see it, they still could have a great time if they don't get lost in the story itself. If you're looking for a cohesive story that makes sense and doesn't feel like you drank too much, blacked out, and only have bits and pieces of memory that you're trying to piece together, I don't think you're going to find it here. And that's a shame because they really could have done something special. So that's going to do it for me, but I would love to hear from you. Are you excited for this new Mario movie? And what was your first Mario game? For me, it was actually the Super Mario Brothers on the original NES, but now I'm playing Yoshi's Crafted World on the Switch, so I'm hoping that we'll eventually get a Yoshi movie someday. And don't forget, if you do want to see our first watch reaction of the 2023 movie, make sure to hit subscribe. You'll also see all of our films and reviews from our back catalog. It really does help us grow as a channel and cover more movies, including the ones you've all recommended to us. And until next time, stay safe, be kind, and remember, doesn't matter what Mario games you've played or haven't played. Those games are one thing that seem to connect us all.